Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, everybody. How are you tonight? Excellent, excellent. Well, we are glad to have you. We're going to let a couple more people go through the buffet lines here tonight, so we'll let everybody get seated. But while we've got everybody here and we are in the interest of staying as on time as we possibly can, let me welcome you to Grandview Ballroom here on the beautiful campus of Appalachian State. On behalf of our staff, our board of directors, and our title sponsor, SkyLine, SkyBest, we are pleased to welcome you to the 76th annual membership gathering of the Boone Area Chamber of Commerce, more affectionately known as Spirit of Boone. Now, I will tell you, if you want flowers and decorations at your home or business that look like the ones that are on your table, Teresa Cody, Janine Underdown Collins, and Brian Crutchfield will have a table set up outside. They'll be taking orders, so feel free to go ahead and register for that. They'll get you taken care of. But thank you all for helping make the room so beautiful today. Really appreciate that. I'd like to start out tonight by thanking our summit members, each of whom have been committed to making the Spirit of Boone such a magical event. Please take a moment to thank them for not only tonight, but their continued support of the Chamber throughout the entire year. Those folks are Appalachian State University, Beech Mountain Resort, Blue Ridge Energy, Fosco Companies in Echota, Highstreet Insurance, the brand new Home 2 Suites by Hilton here in Boone, Mass General Store, and UNC Health Appalachian. We also have a record number of corporate table sponsors that have joined us this year. Thank you all for bringing your staff, bringing your clients, a few new faces to the room that we've noticed tonight. We do appreciate that. Those fine sponsors tonight are Grandfather Mountain Stewardship Foundation, Amorum Hospice, the Walker College of Business, Elk River Recruiting, Hampton Inn and Courtyard by Marriott of Boone, Green Construction, Stitch Design Shop, Graystone Lodge, Blackburn Childers and Steagall, PLC, Mountain True, one of our award winners tonight, Manpower, ERX, Mass General Store, and Destination by Design. If we could give all of these sponsors a round of applause for their support tonight. Thanks to these members, and I'd also like to say a special thank you to the Blowing Rock and Avery County Chambers of Commerce, who both brought tables here tonight. Not only is it about a sponsorship and a supportive set of eyes to watch us tonight, but I really want to thank them for their locked arms over the last year. Please help me and welcome some new leaders to our local chamber community and family. We have with us tonight Robin Miller of the Blowing Rock Chamber and Victoria Bowman of the Avery County Chamber. Thank you both for your support in making the High Country a stronger place. We can't wait to work with you all moving forward in the years ahead. I'd also like to say a special welcome and thank you to 3 other industry colleagues that have come from their communities to join us here. We have Casey Gilbert, who is the Vice President of Public Policy from the Asheville Area Chamber of Commerce, Kim Effler, the President and CEO of the McDowell County Chamber, and Adrian Cole, President and CEO of the Greater Raleigh Chamber of Commerce. Not only are these folks trusted partners, they have been lifelines for us here in the High Country and remain advocacy confidants as we move forward. We're happy to have them with us tonight to catch the Spirit of Boone. If we could give them a nice welcoming round of applause. I'd also like to extend a heartfelt thank you to the members of our Chamber and Foundation boards of directors that are in attendance this evening. Back in the spring, our membership elected 2 new leaders to join this group, so it's my honor tonight to officially welcome Nick London of VPC Builders and Lindsay Richardson of UNC Health Appalachian to our board of directors. Together, the board's leadership has helped keep our business moving while we've helped others and brought much-needed financial support to our community. If I could ask at this time for our board members and foundation board members to please stand so you can be recognized. Thank you all. Last year when we had this event, I mentioned that the leadership gathered in this room was the Spirit of Boone. The people, the businesses that would keep our community strong and moving toward the next opportunity with vision and purpose. Over the last year, so many of you have lived those exact words. You have been the strength, the force, the advocate, the friendly face, and that's what we're here to celebrate tonight. That is the spirit of Boone. With an eye on collective energy and a heartfelt love of place, how that can impact our entire region positively in the months and years ahead. Thank you for that continued support for the place that we love and appreciate each day. Tonight's event has been made possible by SkyLine, SkyBest, again, our title sponsor. You'll hear from them in just a moment. I do want to also take the opportunity to thank Destination by Design and Graystone Lodge for providing our pre-dinner drinks here this evening. So thank you both for your continued support of this event and for supporting the Chamber throughout the years. If you can give them a round of applause, please. I'd also like to take an opportunity to welcome the various elected officials and their representatives that are here tonight, and to offer a special thanks to outgoing Boone Mayor Tim Futrell for his support of the Chamber, not only during his tenure, but years prior, and I know years afterward. I'd also like to recognize Justin Summers this evening from the office of Senator Ted Budd for his leadership and advocacy for our entire region related to the reopening of the Blue Ridge Parkway. Thank you to Justin and Senator Budd for your time and attention to this important matter. Now, as you also see there, we had some special guests that made their way to our chamber this year. North Carolina Governor Josh Stein came to our little chamber living room right there at the office back in January to announce a $30 million investment for the Western North Carolina Small Business Grant Program, a joint effort with the Dogwood Health Trust. It was important for Governor Stein to make that announcement inside a Chamber of Commerce to show our region's business community that the state was indeed paying attention. Earlier this spring, we had the honor of joining forces with our counterparts at the Ashe County Chamber of Commerce to host First Lady Anna Stein on a float of the New River. That trip got a little bit of national attention, as you might remember seeing. After leaving Wahoo's Adventures that day, she stayed around and toured Todd, West Jefferson, and Lansing, visiting with businesses and bringing encouragement. While the First family could not be with us tonight, the impact of the governor's entire team has been felt in this region from the moment the rain stopped. And they have pledged to be with us here until the last repairs are complete. We're thankful to the Stein administration and the GrowNC team that's got representatives here tonight. For Speaker Hall, Representative Pickett, Senator Heiss, and the North Carolina General Assembly for making dollars flow to our community. And of course, to all of the region's local elected officials and staff members who really have worked together in the trenches, regardless of political affiliation, to prioritize the recovery of our region. If we can thank them for their attention to the high country this evening. Another community partner that was quick to step forward during our time of need was Appalachian State University, our gracious host here tonight. While campus served as a landing place for many of us, including us at the Chamber, as a matter of fact, for a couple of days, they quickly transitioned toward long-term support and still play a very active role in bringing both physical resources and valuable intellectual capital to our continued needs. We thank App State for serving as a Gould sponsor of tonight's event. And at this time, it's my privilege to welcome to the stage the Executive Vice Chancellor and Chief Operating Officer, Mr. J.J. Brown.
Good evening, friends and neighbors. Welcome to campus. It's our privilege to host you at App State for the Boone Area Chamber's annual gathering. We're proud to be part of this celebration of people and organizations who make the high country stronger, as David referenced. As nearly a year has passed since Hurricane Helene, I'm mindful how this community shows up for one another. In the days and months following the storm, the town, county, university, and the Boone Chamber aligned to share resources and solve problems together. A model of partnership that reflects Boone at its best. Tonight's Spirit of Boone theme honors that ongoing recovery, resilience, and service. To the honorees, congratulations. Your work reminds us that leadership is about what you build with and for others. I want to recognize Wade Brown Award recipient Ben Loomis, whose advocacy for affordable housing includes hands-on projects that have engaged App State students in real solutions. That kind of collaboration, learning by doing, in service to community is the Mountaineer way. We're also especially proud that 4 of tonight's honorees are App State graduates. I was invited this evening to share a bit about the business of campus, and we are growing as a campus, but doing so with intention and balance. This fall, total enrollment reached 21,798 students, including a record 19,732 undergraduates, nearly 4,000 new first-year students, and a record 1,670 new transfer students. Importantly, our Boone campus population, which is sitting just above 18,000 this year, has held relatively steady over the past 5 years, fluctuating by less than 3% from year to year, while we've expanded our reach through App State Online and our Hickory campus. These efforts, including partnerships like Project Kitty Hawk, reflect our commitment to not just growing in size, but to diversifying how, where, and for whom we deliver quality education. Student success fuels a regional economy that we all share. A recent economic impact study estimated App State's annual impact at $2.2 billion statewide and $573 million across our 5-county region, supporting roughly 1 out of every 14 jobs here at home. When our students learn, work, volunteer, serve, and spend in Boone, and when our alumni launch careers in companies across the high country and state, we all feel it. We know that workforce matters, the right skills at the right time, connected to the right employers. To help meet that need, App State has partnered with Project Kitty Hawk to launch our Flight Path programs, an online bachelor's degree in such areas as healthcare management, supply chain management, criminal justice, accounting, and organizational leadership. These programs are built for working adults, offering shorter terms, multiple start dates, strong academic support, so learners can keep moving forward while balancing jobs, families, and other responsibilities. Partnership is how we do that work. You see it in projects like the Chamber's Economic Indicators, collaboration with featured App State economist Dr. Harry Davis, who told me earlier this evening that he has been here at App State for 49 years. What a tremendous resource we have. This program and partnership is a long-standing effort to translate trends into action for local decision makers. You see it in recovery initiatives that align the Chamber, local governments, and the university to meet immediate needs while building long-term capacity. You see it in honorees like Ben Loomis, the Summit Pickleball, and others who turned facilities, talent, and networks into community relief when it was needed the most. So what does the next year look like here at App State? For App State, it looks like we're going to deepen the habits that got us through this last one. Clear communication, shared priorities, and a knack for rolling up our sleeves together. It means expanding high-impact student experiences with local employers, strengthening the small business ecosystem through coaching, internships, and applied learning, and continuing to welcome the wider community to campus. Whether it's performances and lectures, K-12 outreach, or gatherings like tonight, or it's also maybe our App State community meal, which will be coming up on September 30th in our central dining hall from 5 to 8 p.m. I'll take this opportunity to invite every one of you to that community meal as we come together to share food and fellowship as we reflect and remember the lasting impact of Hurricane Helene. So on behalf of Chancellor Norris, our faculty and staff, and our Mountaineer community who learn, work here, thank you for what you do to make Boone a place where students can thrive, businesses can grow, neighbors can count on each other. We also look forward to welcoming you back to campus on October 3rd, just in a few weeks, when we'll celebrate the installation of Chancellor Heather Norris, a milestone in our shared history and future. Congratulations again to each honoree this evening. We're grateful for your leadership. We're proud of your partnership. Thank you and welcome to App State. Go Mountaineers. Thank you.
49 years of Harry Davis? Seriously? He's got 49 great sets of jokes that he tells at events. 47 of those are funny. I've never had the chance to roast Harry up here before. This is, I'm going to get it in January at the Economic Kickoff event, I'm sure. Thank you, JJ, for your remarks. Appreciate the partnership with App State as always. The Boone Area Chamber of Commerce Foundation went from startup status to a valuable and well-placed economic tool over the last few months. We thank those businesses and individuals that have helped us raise over $1.2 million in disaster relief funding over just 11 months' time. Absolutely. Thank you. That funding helped provide businesses with dollars to help their recovery. The foundation has also stayed committed to its core of raising funds to protect our local workforce development projects, to advance childcare and housing initiatives. Appalachian Commercial Real Estate, DMJPS, Mass General Store, Highstreet Insurance, and our next speaker have stayed committed to these projects and the Chamber Foundation, making key investments in our core mission over the last year, while also remaining committed to the work that we're doing in storm recovery. Beech Mountain Resort has been an advocate for the Chamber's foundation work from the start. I'm happy to share tonight that thanks to their fundraising help and advocacy to support our early childhood industry, and energized by a lead gift from Appalachian Commercial Real Estate just a few months ago, along with contributions from many of you in the room, we have reached 80% of our fundraising goal of $50,000 to support the tuition cost for childcare workers, with a couple of weeks to go to realize that dream for our industry here in Watauga County. Thank you for that commitment to such an important project. Talia Freeman took this challenge and ran with it and helped us so much, just as she did during her time as board chair a few years ago. Please welcome Talia to the stage, the 2024 Baker Jones Woman of the Year, representing another one of our Gould sponsors, Beech Mountain Resort.
Good evening. My name is Talia Freeman, and I am here tonight proudly representing Beech Mountain Resort. Bear with me, my voice is a little scratchy. Okay, so I sat down today, and I thought, I got to write something to say tonight, right? First thing I wrote down was, thank you for calling Beech Mountain Resort. This is Talia. How may I help you? And I realized, I've been stuck in this automatic reactionary mode. I think a lot of us have been that way. We've been reactionary, and we've been stuck in it, particularly since Helene. So that's why, for me and for Beech Mountain Resort, I've been grateful to watch the Boone Area Chamber of Commerce Foundation take on the hard work of being proactive while the rest of us are simply trying to catch up. Childcare is the perfect example. The challenge with childcare in the high country isn't only that families can't always afford care, is that there simply aren't enough options. That creates a cycle. If parents can't find care, they can't work the hours they need, they can't increase their income, they can't pay for care, they end up stuck. It affects families, it affects businesses, and it affects the growth of our entire community. We see this too. It's normal for our staff to leave for school pickup or have a child at work. That's part of supporting your team, but it also just shows how much childcare shapes hiring and also retention. The Chamber Foundation has stepped directly into this space. Since last fall, they've committed over $200,000 to cover tuition for childcare in local childcare centers. They've funded more than $100,000 for the Pathways to Accreditation program for childcare workers, and are now fundraising on a path to $50,000 to support childcare for childcare workers. At the same time, in the aftermath of Helene, just like David said, the foundation has invested nearly $1 million in small business recovery grants, making sure that our local economy doesn't just survive, but rebuilds. Okay, so a few weeks ago, I went to a foundation event at Kobo. Who likes Kobo in here, right? So good. Well, after a little while, I got a little peopled out. I got overstimulated. You'll see that happen later tonight. I'll be in the corner by myself. So I went into a booth and was eating alone, and my good friend from high school, Joseph Miller, snuck in the booth and sat next to me. And he said, I'm glad that we both stayed here. And I said, me too. And then he said, I really want Kobo to be here forever. And for weeks, that has just resonated with me because that is the spirit of Boone. It's the desire to stay. It's the desire to grow. It's the desire to be a part of something that lasts. And that's exactly what the Chamber Foundation has been doing. They've been proactively supporting growth in our business community, identifying tough issues and working towards solutions so that we don't have to face them alone. And that's why Beech Mountain Resort chooses to support the Chamber Foundation and the important work that it's doing for our community. So tonight, I have the privilege of introducing someone who has been a part of that same spirit, Samantha Cole, Child Care Business Liaison with NC Commerce. In her role, Samantha works across the state to strengthen child care systems, support providers, and connect resources. She brings expertise in navigating the policy side of child care, but what makes her such a valuable partner is her understanding of how these challenges play out right here in the High Country. She has worked closely with the Chamber, sharing insights, building strategies that are making a tangible difference for working families in our region. She's both a professional ally and a personal champion for this cause, and we are fortunate to have her voice in the conversation. So please join me in welcoming Samantha Cole.
Good evening, everybody. Talia, thank you for that amazing introduction. And David, thank you for having me. I am so honored to be here tonight for this wonderful celebration of all of the accomplishments and rare achievements of this organization and the foundation and your board and the people who live here, neighbors and residents and leaders over the past year. I'm also happy to represent NC Commerce in this celebration, and Secretary Lilly from Commerce certainly sends his best and wishes he could be here instead of me, but I have the honor this evening. I realize that it's been many days since your last annual meeting, and those days have probably met a number of really enormous challenges for many of you, personally, professionally, in terms of everything this community has gone through, but your response to all of these challenges in the way that you've worked together, shoulder to shoulder as neighbors to navigate those things is deeply inspiring to people across the state. Like Talia was saying, one of those challenges, and it's especially something that's persisted, unfortunately, since before Helene, is childcare access. And that's something that I get to think about a lot in my work and talk about with people all over the state all the time, which I'm very thankful for. Affordable, high-quality childcare is key to making sure that communities across our state can thrive, to making sure that communities that have been disaster impacted can rebuild and renew. Few businesses and few business organizations in our state understand this, live this, embody this, and breathe this the way that this chamber has done. And I'm so proud of that. While still in the response phase of Helene and of this disaster, this organization understood that childcare access is going to be critical to helping small businesses reopen, to helping people get back to work, to helping families fully recover. And they lived that value. They came together and they said, we have to make sure that just like lights turning back on, water running clean, bridges and roads being navigable again, we have to make sure that childcare can reopen, because without it, recovery is going to be near impossible. They knew that if childcare businesses in this community didn't survive the disaster immediately, that it would be very difficult to recover and rebuild. They knew that childcare is not just a social issue that impacts moms and kids, but that it's infrastructure. And that's something that we talk about in economic development nowadays a lot more than we used to. And a lot of that is thanks to the leadership of organizations like this one. The legislative summit that was hosted by this chamber back in January helped leaders from across the state see that firsthand. It was enormously important. I got to be there, and it was inspiring and so informational for me and for so many of the other fellow attendees with me. And leadership in this organization continues to inspire people all over the state, including in different forums like the newly formed Task Force on Childcare and Early Education. And I have to say, your leadership on this comes at a very critical moment. Just last month, 50 childcare centers across the state closed. Some of them were family childcare homes, some of them were centers. But every student in one of those closed facilities has a working parent probably who has to scramble for another arrangement, who wonders what they're gonna do, and if that's gonna impact the way that they participate in the labor force. They could be small business owners that have to reconsider what care looks like for them and what their work schedule looks like and what the future of their business is. We know the toll that these types of closures can take on our economy and on our communities and on our workforces, and this organization knows that so well. So in this season of recovery and beyond, we at Commerce are so grateful for the leadership of organizations like this one, for your Chamber Foundation, for your community and the neighborly way you value childcare for being the mechanism for recovery and rebuilding the way that it really is. And we're so honored to work with you to grow a safer, healthier North Carolina where economic opportunity can reach every corner of our state. Thank you so much for having me.
"50 child care centers in the state closed last month. We're not going to let that happen here, all right? Not going to let that happen here. And it's because of the support of partners that help make that possible for all of us. Our next opportunity to showcase that is through a partnership with our good friends at Blackburn, Childers, and Steagall, PLLC. They have been another sponsor of this event here tonight, and they have an opportunity to help us continue to foster leadership in ways into the future that we hope will be able to carry on for a while. So with that, I'd like to introduce Tara Fenner for a few remarks tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Tonight is about celebrating the resilience of our community, especially in the aftermath of Helene. Much of that, I believe, can be attributed to those that stepped up to face the challenge head on and to forge a path forward. Everyone in here was impacted in one way or another by the events of last year, and many emerged as new leaders in the wake of that. I'm sure that many of you can agree, leading through a crisis brings out something different in us. It's a privilege to be here in a room full of leaders tonight, looking forward with confidence in our community. Confidence that for me, I feel on a personal level due to the response and the support that I felt when our business faced Helene head on. After the initial shock had settled, that we lost our office to flooding, our focus shifted to how best can we still serve our clients. Processing payroll became a #1 priority for us. We had collectively 1 laptop, 1 ream of blank check stock, and 1 printer. So we got busy and tried to make that work. There were some parking lot time card handoffs and some personal payroll deliveries, but we tried our best to accommodate all that we could during that time. Many of our clients had questions surrounding disaster relief credits, the extended deadlines, and how the real-life financial impacts of this storm were going to impact them and their businesses. Adaptation, transparency, and creative problem-solving to fill the new needs of our clients became a regular conversation in our office. This also fostered collaboration with other businesses in our community that helped us along the way, for which we are grateful. As many of you know, we spent our last tax season in a shared space with the Mountain Times, so we were very grateful to them for allowing us to continue to serve our clients during our busiest time. We value the importance of providing leadership to our clients, just like many of your organizations value leadership and its role in informing key decisions. The Chamber is no different, and they have benefited from the strong leadership of their board of directors as they've worked to maintain their own businesses while helping so many over the past year. Here to provide some closing reflections on his year as chair of the board of directors, please welcome Mark Gould.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. It's hard to believe that just 1 year ago, we gathered to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Boone Area Chamber of Commerce. That night, we spoke of resilience, collaboration, and the spirit of Boone. None of us could have imagined how deeply those values would be tested just 2 weeks later when Helene swept through our community. But what followed was nothing short of extraordinary. In the face of devastation, Boone responded with unity and purpose. Our chamber, in partnership with the Chamber Foundation, deployed over $1 million directly to businesses and organizations in need. We witnessed unprecedented cooperation between our town and county governments, Appalachian State University, and our chamber team. Together, we became more than a network. We became a lifeline. The chamber emerged as a trusted resource, not just in recovery, but in rebuilding hope. And I could not be prouder at how the organization rose to meet the moment. It was remarkable how every member of the chamber staff immediately jumped into action, each one using his or her unique skill set and knowledge to plug in where they could not only make a difference, but lead the charge. I've always admired these folks, but this past year deepened that beyond measure. We're recognizing many people this evening as we present our community awards. All are amazing and super worthy of recognition. But while I have the microphone, I just want to recognize David Jackson. Thank you. In the wake of Helene, just like during the pandemic, David rose to the occasion. It's rare that compassion and sensibility collide with a next-level skill in broadcasting information when needed most. And that's exactly what we have in our chamber president. As I step down as chair, I do so with immense gratitude for the opportunity to serve, for the support of my fellow board members, my employer, and for the unwavering spirit of this community. Now it's my honor to introduce someone who will carry this momentum forward, Tara Brossa. Tara brings a deep passion for Boone, a sharp strategic mind, and a unique set of skills that will elevate our work in exciting new ways. Her leadership style is collaborative, thoughtful, and bold, and I have no doubt she'll guide this organization with vision and heart. Please join me in welcoming Tara Brossa as the current chair of the Boone Area Chamber of Commerce.
All right. Thank you, Mark, for that kind introduction and for being such a steady, thoughtful leader over the past year. It has been a real privilege to work alongside you and learn from you. First and foremost, and in no way to be redundant, I have to take this captive audience opportunity to publicly shout out our chamber staff. They're not just exceptional at what they do. They are authentic individuals who celebrate every win with you and show up with all they have and all they can give when the chips are down. Each of you constantly inspires me. We wouldn't be where we are without your efforts. Thank you for all that you have done and continue to do. I have witnessed so much incredible behind-the-scenes work get accomplished with our board of directors group. The time investments, the collaborations, and the results have all been a reflection of what's possible when people come together with shared purpose. I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to serve as chair this year and to stand shoulder to shoulder with our incredible board and the chamber team. As a transplant to this area who neither grew up here nor attended ASU, the connections I've made over the past 10 years have not only benefited my teams and businesses that I've led, but you are all one of the many reasons I am proud to call this place home. I'm especially proud of our board and all the work happening through our foundation. This particular work hits me at my core. I'm so grateful that we are preparing for our 4th round of business resiliency grants, which will help keep businesses open and show continued hope in our region. These efforts would not be possible without our generous donors and our amazing community, who not only gave when many of us were going through crisis in our own businesses, but also helped get the word out and stood with us as we showed up in both word and financial action for our neighbors. Because of you, we raised over $1.2 million to support causes that matter deeply, not just to our organization, but to the people, family, and businesses we serve, and I sincerely thank all of you. As I look to the year ahead, I'm grateful for my front row seat to all the group does. I know the opportunities will come, as they always do, to show up, to brainstorm, and to keep making a lasting impact on the place we call home. We've joked that maybe this year will be our year of calm. One can hope. But either way, I know whatever comes, a plan will be made and we'll face it together. And finally, Seth Sullivan, if you are here, this is your official 1-year notice. The countdown to your speech starts now. No pressure. Thank you again and have a wonderful evening.
What wonderful speakers, even though Tara just jinxed the whole entire thing. So, thank you so much to both of you. Really appreciate that. As we get close, we're getting close to video time now, right, where we can recognize these winners. None of this would be possible without the support of our title sponsor, SkyLine, SkyBest, an organization that has helped connect communities across our region. They were one of the very first during their time of repairing their own critical infrastructure and assessing their own needs across a wide and incredibly topographically diverse footprint. They reached out to us to lend a helping hand. We're right around the corner from their office on Wilson Drive, and that call came somehow. I don't know how it came, because we all were struggling to get calls, but that call from SkyLine came, and they said, hey, what do you all need? That's them. That's them every day, and we're certainly glad to have them as a partner. We now know that in a time where reliability is one thing when it comes to providing robust service, we know in our community now that reliability is about knowing that a great neighbor is right next door. And those neighbors, those business neighbors, see this region as way more than a customer base. And their actions and leadership help the rest of us follow in making the high country stronger with each passing day. To speak on behalf of our title sponsor, SkyLine, SkyBest, please welcome Hallie Grubb.
Thank you, David, and good evening, everyone. On behalf of SkyLine, SkyBest, it's an honor to join you tonight at the Spirit of Boone. I think that, well, it's already been mentioned, but I think we can all agree that this event truly embodies that spirit each year. We're proud to be a sponsor, but we're even more proud to stand alongside the Chamber in supporting the businesses and the people that make this community thrive. As you're all aware, this year brought unprecedented challenges across our service area. Hurricane Helene caused destruction and damage unlike anything our cooperative has ever seen. However, in the face of adversity, our communities immediately adopted this mindset of what can we do to help. From the neighboring cooperatives that came in to our dedicated employees, the willingness to step in and rebuild, no matter how long that may take, and ultimately rise together never wavered. In the months following the storm, we gave our employees an opportunity to share one good thing that happened this year. If you haven't already, I encourage each of you to think of the same. While you can see our full video in our annual report next month, I want to give you a small preview as to what they said.
One good thing to happen at SkyLine this year is the teamwork of the whole company throughout the storm is remarkable to watch.
And my one good thing for the year was establishing connections with all the guys that come in from different crews from different states.
A good thing that's happened this year is we've really expanded the use of our locating software and really learned how to make things easier on our technicians.
And one good thing we got done this year was Cold Springs. We got that all done.
That storm, although it brought a lot of damage, it brought such a uplifting message that people really do care.
These voices reflect what has defined SkyLine since 1951, a commitment to service and to people. From our earliest days of bringing telephone service to our rural neighbors to fiber optic broadband today, our goal has never changed, to make sure that no one is left behind. The storm only reinforced that mission. Our crews were working until every customer was reconnected because that's what it means to be your cooperative. And this is also where you come in. When you choose SkyLine, SkyBest, you're not just choosing your service provider. You're allowing us to pour funds back into the areas we serve, investing into businesses, schools, organizations, and families that make this community what it is. None of what we do would be possible without your support. Our team here tonight would agree. I would like to quickly recognize those here with us from SkyLine tonight. We have our Chief Marketing and Sales Officer, Edward Henson. From our marketing team, we have Kayla Johnson. And from our business sales team, we have Brent Keith, Holly Brown, Katie Eldrith, Zara Blevins, Haley Seaman, and Drew Piscopo. Now, as we prepare to enter into our 75th year of SkyLine Membership Corporation in January, we see this milestone not only as a marker of history, but as a celebration of this community, the people who make our story possible. Together, we will continue expanding service and expanding impact. And tonight, we are very proud to share with you something for the very first time. SkyLine's 75-year logo. This emblem represents much more than years of service. It symbolizes the resilience and the progress we've built together over the years. As we step into this next chapter, we do so with gratitude for the past, commitment to the present, and excitement for the future. Thank you for allowing us to be your cooperative, your service provider, and your partner for nearly 75 years.
It's our first chamber logo reveal. That's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Hey, we're excited to celebrate that. We just had our 75th, so we're going to teach them how to celebrate 75, and we're looking forward to SkyLine going through this year alongside us again. Their support helped us bring you what is about to be. And, you know, it's funny, when we had one of those first nights at the chamber office, we're all sitting around, our staff is trying to take stock of who is doing what so we can communicate that out. And we're just trying to scramble, trying to figure out what's needed and who's doing the thing that's needed the most. That list looked a little something like this. Comeback Shack, reaching out about the possibility of feeding volunteers. Tina Houston, working on a similar project through Reed's Catering. Then, of course, you have Caldwell Community College and Technical Institute. They were making plans on hosting Valley Cruces School. And then you had River Girl Fishing Company, coordinating outreach in Todd and into Ashe County, and that list goes on and on and on. It warmed our hearts, but was also not the least bit surprising to see that the people and businesses that we recognized as our community award recipients at this very event just a few weeks earlier were among the very first to respond. And then we looked a little further back, and we saw many of our other previous nominees and honorees from years past were digging in to help others, providing leadership more than anything else. As we get ready to recognize this year's honorees, it's easy to see that these stories will have a certain common thread, and you can imagine that strand centered on Helene. But more so, and I think most impactful to me, you're going to see community leadership and vision, working through the issues of today with a beautiful tomorrow on their minds. I hope you find inspiration from their actions, from their words, from their impact that they've had. As we celebrate the accomplishments of these 9 businesses and individuals, we joined forces this year with Real Boone Studios, thanks to SkyLine, SkyBest support, to bring you stories of our 2025 Community Award recipients. Enjoy. Boone, North Carolina. Watauga County, North Carolina's high country. Places that inspire. People who care. A truly connected community. When we're at our best, people flock to our area to experience what we enjoy every day. A step back. That beautiful view. A favorite spot. As we have come to realize, when help is needed, resources have been met with genuine gratitude from the people and businesses that make our community so unique. This is the spirit of Boone. Connected communities by scenic roadway or the perfect tubing run. From Newland to Lansing, Todd to Valley Crucis, Boone to Blowing Rock. These communities are anchored by unique and vibrant small businesses that have been faced with an array of challenges they never could have imagined. The Alfred Adams Award for Economic Development is presented by Fosco Companies, and it goes to a community partner that used its financial muscle to bring business-saving resources to the very heart of the High Country. Mountain BizWorks.
Small businesses are the economic backbone and the cultural heartbeat of our communities. I'm Matt Raker. I'm the executive director of Mountain BizWorks. We wake up every day trying to help small businesses across Western North Carolina start, grow, and thrive. Mountain BizWorks is a CDFI, a Community Development Financial Institution. We're a nonprofit that allows us to give financing to places where bank financing might not be able to go or other types of financing. So any enterprising entrepreneur that's got a great idea, willing to put their hard work in, can access capital and have that opportunity to be a successful small business owner. We focus on lending, but then combining that with really good entrepreneurial education, coaching, classes, peer-to-peers, because we know there's always bumps on the road of being a small business owner. With Helene, the level of impacts that our small business owners faced is really, it's hard to fathom. There's so many different challenges, from direct physical impact to their employees. All their dreams, their livelihood is wrapped up in these businesses. We need to get grant funding and to help small businesses across Western North Carolina. Mountain BizWorks, we were very fortunate. People from all across the country were reaching out to get reopened, bring those jobs back, and really bring back those vibrant communities that are so much of what make our region so special. It was really a great partnership with working with folks all across the region. The Boone Chamber was an incredible partner to pool these resources and get them to businesses in the High Country that could really use those to help get reopened. Some of our hardest hit communities, Lansing, Valley Crucis, Newland, the restaurants, the gathering places, the groceries, just everything that's so important, childcare, healthcare, you name it. We're happy to see them getting back on their feet. And, we talk about how we recover forward together. It's so important to support our local businesses to really get all the way through and get back to thriving. Starting a business is heroic. Folks are having to be heroic again to restart their businesses. 99% of all of our businesses are small businesses. Supporting those businesses really is directly supporting people's livelihoods, people's retirement funds, people's college savings funds, and 40% of businesses close after a disaster of this level, and then maybe another 25% in the next year or two after that. Well, we're committed here in Western North Carolina to not let that be our reality. We don't want to just go back to where we were pre-Helene, but how do we move forward? And that's kind of our entrepreneurial spirit, I think, that we all share across the mountains.
The 2025 Alfred Adams Award for Economic Development goes to Mountain BizWorks. Our next honoree is a connector. Whether it's bringing people an experience of beauty and culture or ensuring community messaging is handled with care. The Baker Jones Woman of the Year is presented annually by Blue Ridge Energy and UNC Health Appalachian. And tonight, we are pleased to recognize Nancy Crawford.
A lot of times when people ask me what I do, I'm like, well, which hat do you want me to wear right now? Because I am a wife, I am a mother, Mary Kay Skincare, and I like to say that I'm just a perpetual volunteer. That's just my heart. I'm Nancy Crawford, and I've been in the High Country since 2015, and I am an esthetician. I've been in Mary Kay Skincare since 18 years now. Jason and I, my husband, started a primary care practice with medical aesthetics. One of the things that Mary Kay always said was, imagine that everybody has a sign around their neck saying, make me feel important. That's what we try to do, and I try to make sure that everybody that I encounter, making somebody feel important, making them feel seen, and sometimes it's just that little thing that makes their day. We had moved away from Boone for a couple of years in typical Boonerangs. When we moved back in 2022, I heard about Yolanda Adams. Everybody knows Yolanda Adams. Met with her and I said, this is what I want to do. I want to be that bridge for the Latino community and the non-Latino community up here in the High Country. So from the very beginning, I think it was Friday or Saturday after the hurricane, she calls me or texts me and says, hey, can you come help with this? So we went, helped with Wine to Water. My kids were there helping load waters up in people's cars, running food, because I know what it feels like growing up as a Latino in the area. It's hard. So I try to just go out there and help build those bridges for people that maybe can't advocate for themselves. I just love that we are a community that cares about each other and a community that's open to learning about each other. This is a community where we take care of our neighbors, and I want my children to see that, and I want my children to emulate that and to show that to their friends, so that way, between all of us, we can make a difference.
The 2025 Baker Jones Woman of the Year is Nancy Crawford. Summoning passion to find a way to provide resources has been a common theme in our community for generations. What started as a volunteer raising his hand to serve has turned into real momentum in the effort to make housing more attainable. This year's Wade Brown Award for Community Involvement is presented by WWAMI Community Action, and it recognizes the force that has re-energized the Watauga Housing Trust. Ben Loomis.
You know, we raised over another $200K towards the repairs and paying people and keeping that loan going, but just got our first project completed for the Housing Trust. My name's Benjamin Loomis. I originally came up here as a student at App doing the Sustainable Development program, and I've tried to stay involved in as many community projects as I can. I got involved with the Watauga Community Housing Trust after we'd seen the effect of COVID-19 on the housing market, making it quite unobtainable for the average person working and living in Boone to think about buying a home in the area. I was one of many people who started being part of community meetings that were popping up to start talking about housing. In early 2023, we had decided to launch our first campaign to raise funds, but within about 2 weeks of us getting it up there, we had received a message from one of my former landlords. He texted me and would I be interested in purchasing it, and so we brought him to a board meeting and said be an amazing first project. So even though we didn't have any money in the bank, he gave us 3 months to raise it, and we were able to do that. So we worked with Life Store Bank and raised enough to get the down payment and get a purchase and construction loan to remodel the house. There were lots of supporters, from the businesses to the churches and the local governments around here, that helped us get this fund together. And we were able to sell it for an affordable rate to a local family that has strong connections to the church in the neighborhood. So we're really proud to do all this because we've set a lot of precedents. We've shown that an all-volunteer organization can successfully acquire land, build houses, work with subcontractors, raise the money we need, as well as show that this model that we're using does work to slash the price on getting into a house up front and starting to develop equity for moving out of the renter market. And we're really eager to be able to apply that model more broadly. I'm a firm believer we need new organizations, new tactics and strategies being deployed. So I was happy to help build one of those. I mean, I think, honestly, I think Boone could be like the model small town that figures out through its own creative systems built by its citizens how to get over some of like the political gridlock problems that seem like only federal politics could ever affect this. It's like, no, we can just sit down and just fix them all. All the problems are finite.
The 2025 Wade Brown Award for Community Involvement is presented to Ben Loomis. Connecting resources to benefit a community is a bit like building a puzzle, as you combine specialized fits with a vision for the broader picture. The Watauga Long-Term Recovery Group works daily to put the pieces of our community back together. Appalachian State University helps us recognize this year's recipient of the Ben Suttle Special Services Award, a true organizer in every sense of the word, Wesley Smith.
This is a hub of goodness here. you've got this neat town, and seeing the light bulb come on how they can serve their community in that way, and then to be able to connect them with organizations and people who can help them carry that out is really neat. So my name's Wesley Smith. I'm the Director of Missions for the Three Forks Baptist Association here in Boone. In my role as a Director of Missions, my goal is to see churches engaging their community for the gospel of Jesus Christ. So I guess I can just tell you the story. We were at Valley Crucis trying to pump out water and getting a phone call from the director of North Carolina Disaster Relief and saying, where do you want us? So we had 2 points. We were trying to do recovery out of Perkinsville and doing mass feeding out of the parking lot at First Baptist Boone. I can't begin to tell you how many thousands of people wanted to come here and volunteer. Within a week or two after the storm, FEMA on the ground was here trying to determine what organizations were active in recovery. And so their goal is to bring those organizations together to begin to work together in what they call a long-term recovery group. And I just happened to wind up being the one to chair the long-term recovery group. It's not easy. I mean, it's kind of like it's not as easy to try to get churches to work together, even within one denomination. You start talking about other denominations and other nonprofits trying to pull them together to work together. It's something, but it is really cool to see how we have been blessed to see that happen. Now, long-term recovery means long-term recovery. I mean, we're in this thing for the long haul. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And I've had to remind myself and our team of that often. A lot of the organizations that we have here in Boone, they also serve Mitchell, Yancey, Avery, Ash. And so, this is a hub of goodness here that, kind of overflows to surrounding areas. So it's not just about our recovery. We desire to see those around us recover as well. We want to continue to work together with surrounding communities and counties so that the high country is a better place because of everybody working together.
The 2025 Ben Settle Special Services Award is presented to Wesley Smith. Knowing what you have and how you can help, another common theme over the last year. Our next honorees set out on a harrowing drive to find their business intact and in a unique position to serve. Life Store Bank presents the Dan Meyer Partnership Award, recognizing the quick action, organizing, and the feeling of hope that came from the courts at the Summit Pickleball.
Well, the hurricane hit. I was able to climb over some fallen trees, and then Crystal picked me up in her truck. And we just wanted to see if we could make it to the summit and just see how it was doing. It had been able to survive in a way that just so many other places didn't. And so I think that got Crystal's wheels turning right then and there. I'm Grant Williams, and I'm the co-owner and operator of the Summit.
My name's Crystal, and I am co-owner of the Summit with this gentleman. At no point pickleball even crossed my mind, not with the way the community was hit. So I just asked him if he was on board for us to basically let this be a distribution center. And he was obviously on board with that. Next thing we know, the space was full.
We had one wall worth of supplies. I'm like, oh, this is terrific. This is gonna help. And then 3 days later, the entire, it's like a 16,000 square foot warehouse, and it was just full of things and of people. It was not only the supplies and getting people things that they needed, but I think people also just needed a sense of community at that time, and that's what the space was.
To see so many people come together from all walks of life, just wanting to be a part of something, just wanting to help the community and give back in whatever way they could, that was really special. We partnered with the high school, we partnered with Cornerstone Church. It's humbling. You look at that and you're just like, man, I'm a part of something special.
There was a time when the people had the things that they needed, and people needed their mental health needs taken care of. And we've been trying to provide that ever since. And the Summit is a place where you can go and not worry about work or your life's problems, and you can just play some pickleball, run around, get your heart rate up, have a beer when you're done. And it's what we do there. We try to build culture and community, and we did it during the hurricane, and we're still doing that today.
When we started this, that's the reason we did it. We just want to be a place where people can come, be a community, network. It doesn't matter what level you are. You don't even have to play. Come drink a beer, just come hang out.
I've lived in a bunch of different places, and I've never lived in a place like Boone. It's this combination of, I think it's one of the most beautiful places on earth. And then on top of that is the people here are so nice. And I have just felt welcomed in this community since day one.
Community is the reason I've been in Boone for 25 years. What you get out of small towns, you're not going to get out of big cities. People are willing to take their shirt off their back for their neighbor if you don't know them. That's what's so special about Boone. Teamwork makes the dream work, right? And it's not just us, it takes a community to do what we're doing.
The 2025 Dan Meyer Partnership Award is presented to the Summit Pickleball. A network of resource hubs grew in just a matter of hours, and the connections between getting supplies to those in need came down to relationships. As trucks arrived at the summit, volunteers quickly learned of the storm's impact on the western end of the county and found out that a familiar face was wrapping her arms around an area in deep need in an effort to ramp up critical outreach. The Kathy Crutchfield Citizen of the Year Award is presented by Beech Mountain Resort to Ashley Gallier.
Hard work and tons of fun can sit at the same table, especially in a place like the High Country. I'm Ashley Gallier. I run ZRC Skate. I was brought to the High Country by my parents in 1994. At 6 years old, we moved here. ZRC Skate is an indoor skate park and venue. We do lessons, camps, private events, birthday parties, concerts, community gatherings. It's a big old warehouse for fun. I remember growing up here in the winters and rainy times, thinking how fun it would be to have some more indoor fun. Actually, at like 10 or 11, a friend and I drove by a tobacco warehouse that was for sale, and in the car with her dad, we were trying to convince him to buy us that warehouse so we could rollerblade and play basketball inside. So I joke and I say this like the seed was planted way back when. I just wanted more space for fun. The evening of the storm, I live about a mile away, and I wanted to walk to the warehouse to see what the damage was, if any. I think we were all in a state of shock, and it was sort of like, all right, breathe, analyze. There was a tiny bit of water under the garage doors, and that's it. But the building was protected. Started getting reports of the damage in other areas, and it took 2 or 3 days for everything to fully set in how bad it was. So we set up a table of water and tuna and mayonnaise and peanut butter and jelly supplies, and I think a bag of oranges. And 48 hours later, we had moved inside the building, and there were helicopters landing, dropping supplies. It dawned on me over a 2-day period that there's not a lot of industrial big space buildings in the High Country, and I had one that was geographically centric to East Tennessee, Western North Carolina, and part of Southwest Virginia. You know, I say it fell into my lap, and I just kept saying yes to everything. What's the point of skateboarding and recreation when your community is hurting that badly and that deeply? This business means nothing without a healthy community, and the opportunity to help people in a more meaningful way would not always be there. I knew a good amount of my neighbors on my road, but I met all the rest. One in particular, a woman, I think she just turned 81 down my road. She lost her home, and she had to be convinced to come in and get supplies by her grandson. And when she did, her and I formed a really special bond, and I still hang out with her. We go to dinner, and she jokes and says she's my adopted granny. So it's been really special to me, just knowing your neighbors and knowing your community has your back. Another elderly lady brought me some banana bread. She said, for everything you and your people did. I'm like, that is so cool that I could share what I have to offer, and then other people shared what they had to offer. And that's community at its finest right there.
The 2025 Kathy Crutchfield Citizen of the Year is Ashley Gallagher. Fuel comes in many forms. An army of volunteers were hard at work, some local, many from far away, and they all needed food, a place to take a deep breath, and a place to feel community. Highstreet Insurance proudly presents the Elizabeth Young Award for Community Leadership to a couple of creative cooks who served their community by doing what they do best. Amy and Mike Forrester.
In the immediate aftermath, everybody just kind of had to do what they were best at. I'm okay with the chainsaw, but I'm better with the spatula. We had the capacity to be able to feed a lot of people very quickly, so we exploited that. It kept our people employed. It was a scary time for everybody. Nobody knew what was going to happen at all.
I'm Amy Forrester, and I own Phys Ed.
I'm Mike Forrester, and I also own Phys Ed.
My mother-in-law, Mike's mom, actually called me, and she said, hey, can I buy a gift card so that you can feed anybody that comes in that needs to eat? And I was like,
Sure.
Yes, that sounds like a great idea. So she gave me a generous donation. I put it on a gift card, and we decided we would apply that to cover just the cost of food and feed people that came into the restaurant that were service workers, people that were taking care of our community, and then also people who just came in and said they needed food. And that was our rule, is just all you have to do is say you need it, and we've got you. That just started my wheels turning, and I thought, well, we've got a pretty solid social media following. Why don't we see if we can turn this into something that is bigger for the community? We ended up raising over $20,000 to feed people. So Mike and I actually did all the prep ourselves. And that's, like I said, that was sort of that exchange with our staff. We were able to have them prepare what was happening in the dining room. So we would come in the morning and make 100 cheeseburgers and 100 orders of sweet potatoes and box them up. And I would coordinate with, again, friends and neighbors and get it delivered. Prior to Hurricane Helene, it was always our mission to be that place that is very much community driven. And we were already hosting fundraising events at least once a month for different nonprofits and things like that. And I think it just fostered faster development of relationships that were already probably going to happen. But it also created some great new friendships, real friendships and personal relationships that are very meaningful.
Downtown Boone is turning into more of a destination than it has been the past few years. There's a lot more vibrancy happening right now. I'm looking forward to this football season because we haven't had a whole one yet. So I want to see what it looks like when there's an entire football season behind us. You just have to show up and make every day a little bit better than the day before. If you're not doing that, you're doing it wrong. If you go through a day where you don't learn something or see where you can fix a problem that you didn't realize you had, you're not doing it right. I try to learn something every day. Some days I'm better than others, but it's just show up and grind every day.
The 2025 Elizabeth Young Award for Community Leadership is presented to Amy and Mike Forrester. Using the skills you have to help the people and places you love. That inspiration has carried our community from hard days to a horizon that now looks toward hope. This year's Evergreen Award for Sustainability is presented by Mast General Store and is awarded to an organization that combined technical expertise with a strong voice for advocacy to help restore one of our community's richest and most unique assets. Let's head to the river where we recognize Mountain True.
Since Helene, Mountain True's removed over 3 million pounds of trash from our waterways and engaged thousands of volunteers. I'm Andy Hill, Watauga Riverkeeper and High Country Regional Director of Mountain True. With clean water, we have an abundance of recreational opportunities, snorkeling with native fish that are colored up like tropical reef fish, like our tangerine darter, things like the hellbender salamander. Mountain True's a regional environmental nonprofit serving the southern Blue Ridge, western North Carolina. We have 5 offices across western North Carolina. Our focus is clean water, healthy forests, and resilient communities, and that work really became ramped up, crucial post-Helene. Instead of testing our rivers, we're testing people's wells that have been inundated or damaged by Helene, connecting people with reliable, quick data on the drinking water outlook, and then partner with other organizations like Wine to Water to distribute water filters, jugs, all the things, kind of urgent community needs. Through a partnership with North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality, we've hired 110 people to put them back to work, cleaning up debris, cleaning up our streams, helping restore stream banks, planting native trees and grasses, and protecting our vital waterways. For me, the Watauga River Basin, the New River Basin, is a very special place. In my mind, I always thought that we were safe here, that, these rivers are millions of years old. These are the oldest mountains that we know of. Another beautiful wake-up call was just how strong and connected this community was. That's really something post-Helene that I've come to treasure, is the community connection and the pride and the selflessness that I think makes the High Country a very special but also a very resilient place. My hopes for the rivers of the High Country, the Watauga and the New and the Elk and all these gorgeous tributaries, is that they are enjoyed, that they're treasured and protected. It's our responsibility to take care of them now so future generations can enjoy them. As we recover from the storm, join us for live staking. Our favorite thing to do is plant trees along the riverbanks, and then you come back years later and it's, my daughter's been planting trees since she was a baby, so she was about this tall, and the trees you planted are about this tall, but now they come back and they're taller than me a couple of years later, and that's a good feeling.
The 2025 Evergreen Award for Sustainability goes to Mountain True. Access to rivers, scenic overlooks, challenging trails. These are the features that make the High Country unlike any other place. And the ribbon that ties many of these destinations together is the Blue Ridge Parkway. Navigating storm repairs in the midst of a major revitalization project takes a skilled advocate, one that is rooted in the work of preservation. Our Sue W. Wilmoth Award for the Advancement of Tourism is presented by Home 2 Suites of Boone to the Blue Ridge Parkway Foundation.
My first memory on the Parkway growing up in Southwest Virginia was going up Fancy Gap Mountain. My mother would take us for drives and try to get us lost, and then we would all guess where we would come out. And I didn't even know it was a national park. The Parkway's our home. This is our backyard. I'm Carolyn Ward. I'm the CEO of the Blue Ridge Parkway Foundation. It goes through 2 states, 29 counties, and the Parkway receives more visitors than Yellowstone, Yosemite, and the Grand Canyon combined, but it receives a fraction of the operational budget of any one of those parks. So our role at the Blue Ridge Parkway Foundation is to try to help bridge that gap in funding, to meet the needs of the visitors and help protect the natural and cultural resources. We also operate several programs for the Parkway, like the Blue Ridge Music Center, Kids in Parks, the Bluffs Restaurant. When Helene happened, we all wanted to do something for our neighbor, for our community, for our park, and so a lot of folks turned to us. And the one thing that I learned more than anything is that there is no such thing as a stranger. There is no such thing as someone who did not want to just help. They didn't want credit. They didn't want recognition. And it took all of us working together to get the sections open that were reopened. It was an extraordinary effort. There were hundreds of park staff that came from all over the country to come help our park. The Park Service awarded 12 contracts within 4 months. And in government speed, that's unheard of. The greatest thing that came out of that horrific event is the idea that you need your neighbor. You need to know the folks that are in your community, not just when there is a catastrophe or an event, but always. I get phone calls from businesses up north on the northern end of the Parkway that want to know what they can do to help the businesses down in this part of the Parkway that are not open yet. I've never seen that before. They may have never been to Little Switzerland or Spruce Pine or what's Watauga County, but now they know and they want to help. That's going to last a lot longer than the damage that we have suffered. This is a very different park than most parks in the country. One of my favorite experiences on the Parkway when I came to work here was a fella up at, I think it was Pounding Mill Overlook. I was doing some stuff and I was taking pictures, and he set out a little table, set out a bottle of wine, set out 2 wine glasses, poured him a glass of wine, sitting there, he's by himself, he was probably 80. I kept watching him, and so finally I was getting ready to leave, and I just had to just go ask. And I was like, I noticed, you're here, and seems like you're having a lovely time. Are you waiting on someone? And he told me that that was where he and his wife had met, like 70 years ago. This was where they came on every anniversary. She had just passed away. He came, he said, I'm gonna keep coming. I pour her a glass of wine. I sat here, the place we both loved. That's our park. Our park is not like, I wanna see it once. You wanna come back over and over and over.
The 2025 Sue W. Wilmoth Award for the Advancement of Tourism is presented to the Blue Ridge Parkway Foundation. How about these award winners? Can we bring them up to the stage for a minute? Come on up. Come on up here. Congratulations. Cleary's got your certificates. She's going to get them for you here in just a second. Congratulations. One more time. What an amazing group, huh? All right. Did y'all know Adam Church is here? He's getting ready. He's getting ready. He's watching our softball score right now. Do want to say a couple quick thank yous before we close out tonight. And I've got a couple of remarks to share. I want to thank WATA. They interviewed every one of our award winners. If you didn't hear that on the radio this week, they've got archives of those available on their website. So check that out. You'll get a chance to hear even more about the incredible stories that we heard here tonight. And we'll have an archive of this video available for you on the website just as soon as we can get that up there next week. So appreciate you all supporting these folks, because these are the folks that are going to and have been supporting us for so long. So you're probably wondering what's next, right? Where do we go from here? We know that next week is going to be filled with a variety of emotions, and that's okay. We're going to feel them right along with you. I look around this room and I see our path forward inside each one of you. This event sold out about 2 weeks in advance this year, which is amazing, and we thank you so much. This was a hot ticket. Hey, somebody put on App Classifieds last night. Anybody got 2 tickets to Spirit of Boone you'll sell? We're like, we do. We do. No, in all seriousness, I know that you weren't here just to get all dressed up and fancy and eat a delicious meal. And by the way, the delicious meal that was provided tonight by Grandview Catering and the staff up here, if we can give them a round of applause. Tremendous work by the AV team as well. We really thank them for making this great. But back to why. Why are we all here tonight? I think that's because that we have worked over the last decade to make this event one of purpose and significance. We all want to be a part of what comes next for Western North Carolina. Being here together, working together, we know that we can collectively tackle those challenges. When we see Appalachian State University and the town of Boone and Watauga County working to benefit one another, how can we not bring that same passion and energy to the next important conversation that we have? Because they're doing it right in front of us. Leaders lead when times are tough, and decisions are made by the people that show up. I cannot thank our board of directors enough for letting us do our jobs over the last year to serve you, our valued members and community members in the midst of all of this. We, in the middle of this, because we had nothing else going on, crafted a brand new strategic plan to lead our organization over the next 5 years. And that's available as part of the annual report QR code that you see around tonight. We'll be talking about those strategic priorities with a vision for our role in advancing the high country forward, top on our minds. To execute that plan, you got to have the staff to do it. And at this time, I'd like to recognize Carrie Henderson, Patrick Setzer, Natalie Harkey, Lindsay Cook, Emma Faulkner, Ethan Dodson, our Director of Positivity, Joe Furman, Megan Biddix, and Reggie Hunt. Thanks to the team for showing up each day, ready to lead. We've had great leadership on our board over the years. You heard from Mark and Tara earlier. Chuck Eiler from Highstreet Insurance. He wasn't able to be with us tonight. They're one of our sponsors this evening. He brought me into this world 9 years ago, trusting me to do the job. I don't think that either one of us realize what that would ultimately entail, right? But I thank him for his faith. David Still and our next speaker had the task of guiding us through the difficult years of the COVID pandemic at a time where resources were tight and they were unpredictable. Yet they saw the impact that the chamber could have and pledged to find a way to support our organization beyond just membership and sponsorship alone. It gives me great pleasure to recognize a steadfast community leader, doing so now alongside Governor Josh Stein and the team at GrowNC. Please welcome back to the stage a former chair of the Boone Area Chamber of Commerce and our good friend, Dr. Scott Elliott.
David's a great speaker, and you might have misled him to think that we were almost done, but we're not. Actually, a couple more speakers to go. Carolyn, you got me crying. I probably wasn't the only one. Before I launch into my comments, I just want to say I love this chamber. I really do. And I know you do too. And the chamber, we have great staff, but the chamber, that's all of us. And I love all of y'all for being a part of this. You could be choosing to do something else. I used to say that to my school family all the time. You could be choosing to do something else, but you're here, a part of this community, doing something bigger than ourselves. And I love all of you for that. Thank you, David, for allowing me to have a few minutes here and to get to be a part of this great celebration, and just a reminder of why our high country home and Boone are just so wonderful. So what David had asked me to do is to just hold class for just a little bit. Some of you know I'm a former educator. Actually, JJ, thanks to JJ, I'm still an educator. I get to teach a few classes here at Appalachian State University. So I'm going to have a class with you for just a minute, okay? And then there'll be another speaker, and then we'll dance, okay? Dr. Smith, this will be my evaluation. So you evaluate me, Dr. Smith, principal at Valley Cruces School. Yep. And spoiler alert, I'm going to ask you for some money, okay? And so my evaluation tomorrow morning is going to be when we find out how much money was raised tonight. No pressure, right? So like any teacher would, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. Then I'm going to tell you. And then we're going to do what I'm going to tell you. And then we're going to go to recess. And we're going to somehow pretend like my students wouldn't be drinking during recess, okay? So we'll just gloss over that part, all right? So I'm going to read a few comments, and then we're going to have class, okay? If nothing else is clear tonight about tonight's celebration, it's that we live in a very special place with very special people, and congratulations again to all the recipients and award winners tonight. I greatly appreciate you. You're the best of the best. People lead. People step up when others can't or when others don't, and that's what is filling our room tonight. And who is always the first to step up? Our chamber. We've seen it firsthand and the role this chamber plays in our quality of life. You've heard the countless examples tonight of chamber, the staff, the board, the members stepping up, taking risks for us, for our community, showing up when we need them the most. Like some others in the room, I've had the opportunity to see the leadership of this organization up close, in the closed rooms, in the hard conversations, in the tough decisions. And it always makes me so proud to see when dreams come into reality through their hard work and determination of this talented staff and board. And I'm sorry to go back and give you a couple of examples that probably don't even need to be said. But when an international pandemic finally made its way to our community and stopped life and business as we knew it, it was the chamber's Keep Boone Healthy that emerged as a means to coordinate the messaging across the community. And it also emerged as a new and novel way for us together, through sponsorships, to help support the chamber financially at a time when we decided as a board to stop sending out the bills, right? But Keep Boone Healthy was a way that some of us who could step forward and pay to keep the lights on. That then created, you've heard references to it all throughout the evening, planted the seeds for the Boone Area Chamber Foundation, which is what I'm talking about here tonight. And as we've heard over and over, when the most devastating natural disaster in our state's history stopped life and business as we know it, it was the chamber, once again, who stepped up, mobilizing volunteers, sharing critical information, advocating with elected officials, and being everywhere we needed the chamber to be just when we needed them. Having the foundation already in place at that time allowed us to all come together to give much-needed grants to businesses struggling to make ends meet. Supporting local child care community and families and businesses who cannot survive without high-quality early childhood education. I know my wife and I could not have worked had it not been for quality child care. Can you imagine where we would be today had it not been for the Chamber Foundation stepping up and supporting our early childhood educators? That was the foundation at its best. And that foundation, that's you and me, just like we are the Chamber. I should have said, and I hope you won't tell him, I bring you greetings on behalf of our governor, Josh Stein. I have to go see him in the morning, and I will tell him that I brought greetings, all right? But nearly every day, nearly every day in my work in the governor's office, we talk about the needs of our local communities and how we can advocate even harder for our local businesses. And I'll be the first to say that the state and the federal government has not done enough. I can't even tell you the times I've said, well, I can tell you what our chamber's telling me, or, well, I know what our chamber has done to step up when no one else could or would, or, I don't know, but I know a guy named David Jackson, and he can tell me. The foundation is all of us at our very best. We, you, me, the foundation, give the chamber the capacity to do the things that go above and beyond what our memberships provide. And now we have the potential to do so much more. Now, don't get me wrong, membership is important. Sponsorships are important. After my 30-year career, I've kind of taken for granted that someone else paid my chamber membership. I found myself without a chamber home. And I'm very proud to tell you, I signed up as an individual member of the chamber. All right, so I'm glad to still be a part of the family. And thank you to the member organizations who continue to pay to be a part of the organization, and I hope that you can continue to do that. But when I learned that the foundation was collecting funds to support our local businesses after Helene, I got out my checkbook. I told my wife, I got out my checkbook, and I did what I could to help. Maybe it wasn't much, but I did what I could to help. And then after going to that wonderful event at Cobo and hearing the stories of our early childhood educators and hearing the vision of the foundation and Ethan giving such a compelling story that we can do so much more, I got out my checkbook and I wrote a check, a little bit of what I could do. Tonight, I'm doing it again, and I'm asking you to join me. So I should have told you, spoiler alert, I'm going to ask you for money. So that's your warning to not get up and leave, or else it would be really embarrassing. Mark Norris, I know it's your bedtime. Sit back down. Where's Mark? Sit back down, Mark. So here's what you can do. If you value the chamber like I do, then empower this chamber to do just a little bit more. In front of you is a folded card. So I've already told you, and now we're going to do it together. Let's pick up that card. This is where you can make a donation to the Chamber Foundation. We have over 400 people in attendance tonight. See, I see some of you reaching for the card. The others of you, you can reach for your card. At least look at it, okay? David Still, do you want to be the reason that the class doesn't get to go to recess? Pick up your card. Okay. All right. If each person tonight makes even just a nominal gift, giving what you can, think of the collective power we will harness for whatever needs come our way. And if we've learned anything, we don't know what's just over the horizon, but we can be ready for it. We need every individual here tonight to make a gift to this chamber with this card. This is where I sound like the PBS person. You can easily give using the QR code, or you can see a chamber staff member. Raise your hands. Chamber staff members, they're right here in the back. You don't even have to write a check, but I did. You can fill out your information, put your phone number on there. They will call you. They will call you. In all seriousness, we can do so much together. Please fill out the card, make a gift however you choose, whatever you can, and leave it behind tonight for the staff to collect. This is when you pick up the card. You have the pen. Ethan said, give them a minute, wait. I might use some physical proximity, Dr. Smith. Walk around the room. No. In all seriousness, I hope that you will consider doing as my family and I have done, and that is making a gift. It means so much to the Chamber and to the Foundation Board to be prepared for what is to come. Thank you all for supporting our business community in the High Country and our Chamber, and if you enjoyed tonight, if you feel proud to be a part of this great community of leaders, if you have the confidence in this great staff to do things with us and for us, and I should say, let's don't take them for granted. If you want to keep this high-quality staff in place doing this great work, continue to pay that positive energy forward with a donation to the foundation. We have one more speaker, but I just want to say again, congratulations to all of the recipients. Thank you to everyone for being a part of this chamber, for making this really, I think, the greatest place in the whole world to live, learn, and work. It takes all of us together, and I thank you very, very much.
That's all? Just kidding. They said give Scott Elliott like 3 or 4 minutes, and it'll be great. It was great. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you. Really appreciate you. We got one last person that's holding us from Adam Church. He is the sponsor of Adam Church. Please welcome Andrew Ortiz, representing Spangler Restoration, to give our final remarks of the night, and we'll get ready for recess.
Good evening, everybody. As David said, my name is Andrew Ortiz. I am a proud Appalachian State graduate, class of 2016, and I currently serve as the business development representative for Spangler Restoration. Asking me to follow Scott was a little bit unfair, but I will say that I'm not going to ask you for money. So maybe that'll be my leg up for the crowd here. As David said, I am here to introduce recess, but if I can, just for a minute, take a second to reflect and echo some of the sentiments that have been shared by folks tonight. As we approach a year since Helene, I can't help but think of how this community has responded. Neighbors helping neighbors, hands and hearts wide open. At Spangler, our work is about rebuilding what's broken, but this past year reminded us that restoration isn't just about buildings, but it's also about people. And no group embodied that spirit more than the Boone Area Chamber of Commerce under David Jackson's leadership. In a moment of crisis, they steadied the wheel. They helped Boone not just recover, but move forward with compassion, clarity, and community at the center of every decision. I know I'm not the first to do so tonight, but as I close to the night, can I ask for one more round of applause for David and his team at the Chamber tonight? Now into something I've really been looking forward to. Going back to my App State days, I can remember being a freshman and sophomore at Appalachian and sneaking into the back doors of Geno's there on 105 to avoid the red X's on my hands so I could enjoy libations while I listened to the great sounds of Luke Combs and Adam Church. And I had no idea at the time of exactly what I was listening to, but it was obviously the foundation of some really great movement in the country music scene. Around that time, Adam was fortunate enough to meet his longtime guitarist who will be with him tonight, Jordan Lamb. They were actually fortunate enough to meet on Luke Combs' couch. Together, they became a part of the original Luke Combs band and have been playing alongside each other for now 12 years. Adam's story, just to be candid, is pure Boone. Adam played Luke Combs' first ever stadium show right here at Kid Brewer Stadium. Adam, this past summer, was able to perform at Carolina Country Music Festival in Myrtle Beach, and he's performed at shows all around the Atlanta area. He shared the stage with a few names you might be familiar with: 49 Winchester, Chris Cagle, Megan Maroney, Nate Smith, Bailey Zimmerman, Chris Lane, and Ella Langley. Please welcome, or join me in welcoming my dear friend, the heart of Boone, North Carolina, Adam Church.